None of us is here by accident. It's a very deliberate choice for a soul to incarnate into a body on earth. Before incarnation, there's a whole process of designing a blueprint of the kind of life that would be best suited for the soul to experience what they want to experience. What the soul is interested in is evolution, certain qualities and experiences that can be taken away after death. The soul is not here to learn how to make money or how to have a fancy house or car. None of these things matter when you die. The soul is here for the deeper lessons. It could be unconditional love, it could be forgiveness, authenticity, courage, learning how to hold power but not power trip. There's so many kinds of lessons. And your soul, before incarnating here, has selected a few and then designed a life that is best suited for learning these lessons. So none of it is by accident or mistake. Where you were born, where your parents are, whether you have siblings, the way that you look, and your early childhood experiences all set the stage for the lessons that you learn. Everything happened in service of your goal because it was your choice to go through these experiences that will ultimately bring you the learning that you want to take away from this life. This is what shifts you out of victim mentality and blame. For a long time, when I connected the dots between my insecurities, my wounds, my anxiety, to the way that I was brought up, to how I was being parented, and the values and conditionings that were instilled in me, I had a lot of anger and grief and resentment towards my family and how I grew up, which I think is a natural part of the process. You can't bypass your emotions. However, there comes a point where it's no longer helpful to revisit the same stories and the same narratives. At some point, after you sit and face these emotions, it's time to structurally change your beliefs and take a different perspective. And the truth here, the right perspective to hold, is that everything happened for you in service of your destiny, in service of the person that you wanted to become here, in service of the qualities that your soul wanted to cultivate and take away with them. So for me, it's obvious that one of the values and qualities my soul wanted to cultivate is sovereignty and self empowerment and a really solid sense of self worth, which becomes self expression, free, full self expression, wholly believing in myself, wholly appreciating myself for who I am. And through doing that, inspiring others to embody the same. If you take the perspective of the soul, in order for me to learn this lesson, it can't just be given to me. Because if I was born with this and everything is just perfect and rainbows and butterflies, first of all, it would be kind of boring. So there's no reason for a soul to incarnate here just to experience more of the same. The soul is here to experience this journey of forgetting who I am, forgetting that I'm powerful, forgetting that I am sovereign, and to be subject to oppression and suppression, having my voice be taken away, being shamed, being judged, which creates the perfect stage to embark on this heroine's journey. It's this process of becoming, it's this process of reclaiming myself and coming back to myself, letting go of the limitations placed on me, remembering who I am. It's this process that really integrates this learning on a deep level. Because how can I know what it's like to be sovereign and empowered and anchored in who I am without ever experiencing the lack of it? And that's the beauty of this world is we get to experience the contrast between having and not having. And this is such a delicious experience for the soul. When we're just one with everything and all there is love, there's no contrast. So you can't really know yourself and you can't really know what that thing is like when you're always in it. It's like a fish being in water all the time, doesn't really know what water feels like. Through going this contrast, through first experiencing what it's like to not be empowered, to not believe in myself, to not like myself. And then from there, going through the process of learning to love myself more, learning to return to inner refuge, learning to accept myself, learning compassion, learning grace, and eventually being where I am now, where there's no part of me that I'm afraid of exploring. There is no part of me that I reject. And I can say with 100% certainty that I love myself and I deeply respect myself. I deeply value and cherish myself, and I love who I am. This is the most beautiful journey that I could ever embark on. And it wouldn't have been possible without the early setup of the trauma and the pain and the neglect. So now that I see that, there's no more blame, there's no resentment because everything was in service to this journey. My parents, whoever was around, my bullies, they weren't there to hurt me. They were actually there to help me wake up. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Without them, I wouldn't have this journey. Without them, I wouldn't have learned this lesson so viscerally. And I wouldn't have been able to reclaim my power, my sovereignty, and who I am. Because pain is such a powerful catalyst. If it was easier, if I had everything, then there's no incentive to find my true self. There's no incentive to self source, no incentive to become truly sovereign in who I am. And that's what I wanted. It's true confidence, true sovereign self worth that is unshakable because it comes from within. If I was born in a perfect environment, who knows? Maybe I would be reliant on people. There's a difference between that and the kind of worth and confidence that is earned, that comes completely from within, from walking this journey. And with that comes a sense of self respect that nothing can take away. I know the journey that I had to walk and the amount of courage, resilience, dedication, devotion that I had to have to myself, to my path in order to get here. And nothing can take that away from me. Nothing can shake that because it's who I am. And I only know that from walking this path. So thank you to all of these experiences and all these people who shade me, judge me, cause pain, because now I remember they are only actors in this movie that I've directed and played and is a part of. They were there to help me achieve my goal, which is this movie that I'm writing. The plot. It's all for the plot. There's so much relief and peace that comes from remembering this.